Warning.
You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.
Production.
7 Mile Radio.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Part 2 loading. Who the fuck did I almost marry? I want to make one correction from last week. This is Mack, and this is my story. I want to make one correction from last week, and that correction is I kept saying 15 months because it's been to the date, to March, it's been 15 months since we met. But this whole debacle took place from November to November 2022 to November 2023. So, correction done. I also want to state that I'm doing this at the studio because I don't want anybody to think I'm doing this for any financial gain. I don't get a single nothing from a single view, from a single like, nothing. I didn't do this on my own page for a reason. Even though I share it to my page, I didn't do it on my page because I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to monetize behind this situation. So please don't think this is for any particular reason other than what I stated in episode 1, which I'm not going to reiterate. So that being said, let me recap the first episode. The first episode was how we met. Basically, I encountered my first couple, 2 or 3 red flags concerning one particular female. In the end, I let it go. Because I really didn't want to be the same person that I had been with everybody else. Like, your first sign of trouble, typically with me, the first sign of trouble, I'm out. Like, I don't have time to waste. I spent 10 years with a woman that I knew I shouldn't have been with past the first year. And so I'm not just willing to make that same mistake again, right? So I gave it a chance. I said, let me not run at the first sign of trouble. Let me just work on it, since relationships require work, right? Yeah. Hey, T-Boz. What's up, P? Hey, Jody, my niece. But I wanted to, before I get into the depth of episode 2, I wanted to share some things about myself, which are not, they're not probably the most healthy things, right? So, me, when I'm stressed, depressed, angry, or feeling some kind of way, my go-to is to go have a drink, smoke a blunt, right? The problem is that when I start drinking, sometimes I don't stop drinking. I just drink until I don't feel anything. And that's not a good coping mechanism, right? Unfortunately, however, as a result of that, sometimes if I'm at a party, I'm like the life of the party, once I get a little juice in me. Other times, when it's personal and it's negative, I can become an angry person. You know what I'm saying? I'm like my words can be swords. My words can cut deeper than my hands or a weapon ever will. And so I put that out there to say there were times where, and they're probably too often in the latter part, in this situation where, I get upset or I think about some shit and I just I'm gonna get me a drink, and when I drink, I'm uninhibited. I don't restrain myself. I don't restrain my words, and I say whatever the fuck comes to mind, apparently, because a lot of times I don't remember. But it's not an excuse. But I'm saying that to say there were times where I was super disrespectful. There were times where in that inhibited state of mind, I said some things that were very hurtful. And I acknowledge that. So, I don't need anybody to say, oh, she was disrespectful. Nigga, I'm saying it myself. I was. And sometimes I intentionally was. I would literally go drink. Because in my sober state of mind, I'm reserved. I'm a little bit more less inclined to go off, right? And if it was something I really wanted to say and I know I don't have the wherewithal to say it in my sober mind, I'll drink on purpose just so I can get the shit out. You know what I'm saying? And like I said in the first episode, a lot of times that shit didn't come out gravy. It didn't come out beautiful. It didn't come out soft. It came out hard as fuck. And it came out disrespectful as fuck. So I acknowledge that I was super disrespectful at times in this situation. I also acknowledge that drinking as a coping mechanism is not healthy. It's not healthy, especially if it results in negative behaviors and negative impact. So, that being said, I also want to give you a little bit of insight into my personality or T's. I have two very different personalities. There's this Damone person, that's my government name, and there's D-Mac, who I created along the way, just my acronym typically for being a barber, but then it's also my acronym for the personality change because I am, as Damone, I'm a super kind, sweet, nice, loving, caring, just giving and all that type of shit. I'm that person, Damone. That's the person I introduce to people. If you cross me or I feel like you cross me, then now you're reintroduced. You become introduced to D-Mac. D-Mac is a bitch. She's an asshole. She don't give a fuck about nothing and nobody. She don't care about your feelings. In fact, she is more of the person that protects Damone, the soft bitch. Like Damone is soft. She's really soft. In my natural state, I'm a very soft, loving person, but cross me, I can become a whole beast, and I mean it. And it played out in this situation because once I felt like the image that was created in my head was blown, you know, I became a whole nother motherfucker. It was like, okay, now I done shifted from Damone to D-Mac. Like, Damone, I love you, but D-Mac was like, fuck you. You know what I'm saying? So when my perception of a person changes, my behavior toward them changes. You understand what I'm saying? It's when I think that a person is different than what they presented to me, then now I'm going to present to you something different as well. And it's petty as fuck, and I acknowledge it, but it is what it is, and that's who I am. In early conversations, you share a lot of stuff, especially when we were on the phone a lot. We shared a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? And I told her in several of these conversations that I'm damaged goods. And I acknowledge that. I know that I'm a good person. I'm a good human. I have a good heart. My intentions are pure initially. But I also know that there are things in me that if you tip off the iceberg of those things, then you might encounter something you're not accustomed to from me, and that's my disclaimer for what's coming ahead in part two. So all that being set aside, part two, who the fuck did I almost marry? One of the mistakes I made after the first few red flags involving this same female was staying in a situation that I really should have walked away from, just because I know myself. I think that's where I ended on last week, where I know myself. I know that I don't just freely give my trust out to people. I'm a real skeptical individual. Like, I question everything and everybody, but I gave it freely to this individual, and when that shit kind of blew up in my face with the first couple red flags, it was kind of like, all right, so yeah, I probably should walk away. But then, because of my heart and because I loved her, because I was committed to the situation and didn't want to just run at the first sign of trouble, I stayed, but I stayed with a skepticism. I stayed with a different state of mind. I was no longer the person she met. I was skeptical now. I was questioning now, because you're now questionable to me. And so no longer did you experience the person you met. You experience this person that's looking at you sideways. And so when she says, she'll probably say at some point, or probably already has, that I changed. Yeah, I changed when you changed. I didn't just wake up and decide to be different. I woke up realizing I can't trust the person I love. And so when my disposition when I can trust you is one thing, but my disposition when I can't trust you is entirely different. So yeah, of course, you experienced something different. Absolutely, I changed. And I changed to protect myself from someone I could no longer trust. So that's that. So that's into December, right? The whole red flag. In betwixt her first visit, Thanksgiving, and my visit to her on my birthday, the whole shit blew up. But I did end up going for my birthday because, we talked about it and tried, that whole shit. You want to work shit out. You think this shit is fate. You know what I mean? You think this shit is like purpose. You know what I'm like? God did this. You know what I mean? So you work at it. You know what I mean? So we decide we're going to work this thing out. We're going to talk it out. We're going to get past this first debacle. Fine. And here we are. The consequences, however, of just kind of letting shit go.
Giving people the benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
as opposed to the consequence.
Yeah.
Right?
The problem with that is you... in my head, everything became suspect. Like, there was no real resolve. There was no real understanding. There was no real clear-cut answer to that situation. It was just left to where it was, and we just kind of left it there. The problem, however, is in my head, it's like, I don't see you the same anymore. I don't...
so I can't operate in the same space as I did when I actually liked you and wanted to be with you.
Yeah, I'm moving different now. I'm moving different now.
So now you cause me to move different, and the difference in my movement is causing you to move even more different, which is throwing me up. So we're growing apart.
And so,
now.
and it's like this badminton game going on.
We're growing apart.
You know what I'm
now.
saying? It's just constant conflict, constant issues, constant questions, constant suspicions. You know what I'm saying? So before I even went for my birthday, me and my nieces, we planned a Christmas cruise, right? We wanted to go on a cruise. I wanted to spend some time with my nieces. I want the kids to, spend some time, whatever. This was all planned and spoke about before she and I came about, right? And that was going to be the cruise, me, my nieces, and the kids. But then when this happened, I kind of mentioned to her, about the cruise, and, it'd be nice if she went type shit. And she was the type of female, she just went online, booked it. You know what I mean? Cool. I thought it was cool. But it wasn't, because my niece's mom and she are cousins, and there was some sort of conflict a long time ago between them, and I'm not going to go into all of that, but there was some sort of conflict a long time ago between the two of them. And so my nieces wanted to surprise their mother for Christmas, because it was a Christmas cruise, right? And we were going to be on a boat on Christmas Day. They wanted to surprise their mother for Christmas. And so, they called in to Carnival. Carnival said the cabins were booked. Somehow or another, their mom was booked into her cabin, and she was unaware of it until she got the email stating that was the case, right? And so there were conversations had about, like, this person, me and this person don't even talk. Like, why all of a sudden is this person appearing in my cabin, type shit. So I'm like, y'all do what y'all got to do, do what you got to do, whatever. So anyway, long story short, the decision was made to where she was like, she called Carnival to make sure that this person was not booked in her cabin. Mm-hmm. And, my nieces somehow or another were able to get her booked on the cruise. Unfortunately, she missed the flight and ultimately missed the cruise, okay, in a nutshell. So now the cruise is me. Oh, and in betwixt, I decided I was going to surprise Sybil with her daughter on the cruise. So I contacted her daughter, booked a cabin for her, right? Booked a cruise for her because I want it's a surprise. You're in the military. Yeah, you're in the military. She's in Texas in the military. Her son is in Hawaii in the military. He wasn't able to get away for Christmas, but her daughter was. So I booked her as a surprise to her. And so that was that. So now it's me, her daughter, my son, my niece, my other niece, and my niece's 2 kids. And it was so awkward. Like day one was so fucking awkward because my nieces felt like she they really wanted to surprise their mother for Christmas and do this, and they felt like she should have allowed her to get into one of the cabins, either her daughter's or the other cabin that she bought, because ultimately we had 3 cabins. I booked a cabin for me and my son. That was the initial. But then when she came, it was like, okay, she booked a cabin. So that way, me and her could have a cabin and Donovan would have his own. And then when I surprised her daughter, I booked her daughter her own cabin. So we had 3 cabins. My niece had their cabin. But then they wanted to bring the mom. So it was kind of like, okay, well, we'll just put her in one of these cabins, even if she doesn't particularly sleep in this cabin, right? So anyway, it turned out mom didn't come. But it was an awkward tension, right? Day one. We on a cruise day one. And it was just, just tension. Like, Sybil over here feeling like, how can somebody want me to do a favor for them when they don't even talk to me? And then they're feeling like, well, we want to surprise our mother and you should have just at least allowed us to book her and she didn't have to stay in the room. So it was this conflict.
Yeah.
And so I'm on this cruise, me and my son on this cruise with 2 different parties, right? My niece, I got to meet up with my nieces and my nieces over here, and I got to come over here with her and her daughter over here. And it was just like, this ain't what the fuck I had in mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not saying anybody was particularly verbal about there being a separation. It just was clear.
With you being the one in the middle, it was hard being the glue.
There was no glue. There was no glue at that point. There was no glue. It was just 2 separate parties. You know what I'm saying? I understood both.
But you had to navigate.
I understood both positions, because if I was a person and somebody I ain't talked to in years and somebody I'm beefed out in years and the last contact we had was potentially physical and conflictual, don't try to ask me for a favor. But I also, because they're my nieces, I also knew, they want to spend Christmas with their mom. And I also knew that, like, it was just touchy. But, like, that, I ain't in it. I'm in it. You know what I'm saying? So, the whole cruise, it was fun. Ultimately, there was a good time had. I just had to juggle. And just had to be in 2 different places at the same time. With 2 different sets of groups. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like, I don't know. The shit was weird.
Didn't feel like it was gelling together as a family.
It wasn't gelling together as a family, because it was just real tense to the first day, to the point where I had to ask my nieces, like, y'all know her? They like, duh. But it was just like, not her, but I think it was her daughter. I asked them about, because nobody was saying anything when we all met up, and it was kind of like, oh, this shit about to be weird as fuck. Yeah. You know what I mean? But, so that was that. That was the cruise. I ain't gonna go into no more detail about that. It was a good time had at the end of the day. So, and then come New Year's Eve, we all or come Christmas Day, I think the day after Christmas, we got off the boat. She went to spend New Year's Eve with her kids, and I came on home and spent New Year's Eve at home. So from January to February, it seemed like we were gaining some ground, right? It seemed like we were able to try to put this thing together or piece this thing back together. It seemed hopeful, right? And so, my gung-ho ass, I go out and buy a motherfucking diamond ring. I'm going to ask her to marry me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go out, I'm shopping. I'm like, I like this one. I like that one. I get the ring. Cool. So, but I don't immediately ask her to marry me. I just held it. Put it in my safe, and just let it sit there. I showed a couple people, let a couple people know what my intentions were, but now I'm a little more skeptical. Even though I'm gung ho, I'm still like, no, I ain't about to do this shit just yet, right? I'm not gonna do it just yet. So the engagement ring is in in the safe. So meanwhile, she's flying more often than me here to Michigan to see me, right? And this is another thing that kind of gave me the idea that maybe she for real. You know what I'm saying? Because who the fuck about to fly from Florida to Michigan every 2 weeks to see you if she not for real, right? So I'm like questioning myself along the way. I'm like, damn, she flying every 2 weeks. Like I really can't fly like that because I have my business. I don't get furlough. I don't get sick days. When I leave, I don't get money.
Right.
I also have a son that's in school, so I can't just be gallivanting across the goddamn country off some emotions. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go when he got a break, or I gotta go when I can. You know what I'm saying? So she flew here more than I flew there. I give her that. Pats on the back. Great. And so I'm keeping hope alive. I'm like, okay, you know, we doing good. We doing good. January to February, we doing good. And so approaching the engagement day, I start planning this proposal. Right. I wanted to make it a spectacular. Right. I wanted it to be something she never experienced, something she would remember forever, right? I wanted it to be a moment, probably even more of a moment than the actual wedding, right? Because the wedding is just a culmination, but when I ask you, that's for real. You know what I mean? So, leading up to it, you know, I'm planning it. I'm making calls. I'm trying to book the hall. I'm trying to book videographers, book photographers. I didn't want to do it on Valentine's Day because that's so motherfucking cliche, right? I wanted to do it on an off day. So I did it before Valentine's Day. Not a whole lot, but just on the 11th, 3 days before. But anyway, so she was thinking that I was going to do it on Valentine's Day because she was coming for the weekend. And so I had to talk to her, one of her other BFFs, a newer BFF, after the other BFF. You know what I'm saying? But she was cool. She was cool. I talked to her. I'm like, look, she think I'm going to ask her to marry her on Valentine's Day weekend because she coming here. And I told her to make sure she dressed because we're going to a formal event. So I need you to throw her off. Tell her I ain't going to ask her to marry me in no cold-ass Michigan in February. I'd rather do it on the beach in Florida. You know what I'm saying? So I'm throwing her off like a motherfucker, right? Throwing her off. So, you know, I'm going out. I'm shopping. I buy the suit. I'm booked the entire venue. I, like, shut the club down for a few hours just for us or whatever. Decorator, saxophone player, chef, photographer, videographer, all that shit, right? And so the day of, you know, we getting dressed. She's in town. We getting dressed to go to this formal Valentine's Day function, right? But I tricked her. I made her think we were going to a function. So I said, before we go there, I got to pull up at my boy's spot and holler at him real quick. And so I pulled up at his spot. I go in to make sure everything's good. Everybody's there, food, cooking, sax player there. Everybody good, blah, 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 blah. I go out to get her in the car. I'm like, come in for a minute because I don't want you sitting out here. Just, you know, it's taking too long what I got to do in here. So just come in. And when she came in, her knees buckled. You know what I mean? Show them pictures, Mark.
I've been scrolling them.
I had people like calling me or texting me or even my boys like, dog, take that shit down. You know what I'm saying? Because they girls like, I need a do-over type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted it to just be amazing. I just wanted it to be just that moment in time where if you never thought I was serious, if you thought I had given up, I just need you to know I haven't, right? And I did that. You know, and it was amazing. My chef 3059, D'Amica Graham Humphreys on Facebook, food was excellent. Saxophone player, the photographer, the videographer. It was just amazing. It was an amazing time, and we had a great night. Just an awesome evening, right? So we back at the house the next day, right? The next morning, she's going to cook, and she decides to get up and go to the grocery store. And she took my son, Donovan, with her. And this is the day... Wait a minute. Hold on. Do I have this shit in the right order? Because I don't want to fuck up. Nope, let me back up. I'll get back to that. So we get engaged. She goes back to Florida. I got that other situation I was about to speak on happens a little bit later. So she goes back to Florida. Fine, cool. you know, we long distance. It ain't like, you know, we engaged and you gonna stay here. You know, you gotta go home. So anyway, she goes home. She's there, you know, and she had a pattern of having people come in from out of town and she meet them in Orlando. That's cool, you know, have a good time. That's where you live. That's where your people coming. Do what you do. All was well except for this one particular day. And this one particular day, it was like it was an all day from dusk to dawn type shit. Usually it's like it takes you an hour to drive there. You there for a few hours. Y'all go to eat, have a few drinks. You go home. You know, you on the phone. You communicating throughout the way, right? This particular day though, it was like a dusk to dawn situation. So typically I don't bother her when she goes out with her friends, but this particular day, after so long, it was going into the late evening, and I know you still got to drive home for an hour from Orlando to Tampa. So I called, right? No answer. So I called 3 more times, still no answer. So now this is the danger of moving past certain things without having really dealt with them, right? So the first thing in my head was like, oh, she probably with that other bitch. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking like, you probably with that bitch you so-called, you know, that bitch was just too okay letting the friendship go. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all know y'all still talking. I ain't no dummy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit was too easy to me. So in my head, I'm thinking that. It didn't turn out to be that. But that's the danger.
She done put that seed in your
You know what
head
I'm saying?
already,
Now
you
the
know
seed is there. But apparently she was in the restroom, left her phone on the bar, and whatever the fucking explanation was. And so that particular day, it was kind of like, you know, we had a conversation. We got through that. Fine. Now it's time for me. This is where I left off last week when I was talking to you about me going to the pool hall. Now it's my time. I don't go out. I don't party much. I work at home, I study at home, I teach at home, I do all this stuff at home, right? I don't go out much, and I think she liked that about me. Like, if I don't go out and everything I do is at home, then it ain't no risk for me meeting motherfuckers, right? So, okay, I decide I'm going to go to the pool hall, shoot some pool games with my boys. I got a pool table in my basement, but I'm tired of my motherfucking house, right? I'm on the phone with her as I'm driving to the pool hall. I'm on FaceTime, mind you. And then as I'm walking into the pool hall, I'm on FaceTime. When I see the people I come to meet, I tell her, okay, I'm here. I'm going to call you when I leave. Okay, cool. Everything's good for about 30 minutes. Pick my pool stick, you know, order me a drink, order me some little chicken fingers or whatever the fuck. And cool. Getting ready to play the first game. Now, I don't wear my phones on my hip no more. I used to wear the clip on the hip, but I don't do that shit no more. Somebody told me it make you look old, so my son told me that. So I stopped wearing the fucking phone on my clip hip. So my phone on a little table. I ain't paying attention to the motherfucking phone. So I'm shooting pool. I'm 30 minutes there. I'm in this bitch for 30 minutes. I ain't really had a chance. I ain't got my food yet. I got my drink. I'm about to shoot my first game of pool. I hear my phone ringing, but I ain't pressed. I'm out. I'm like, this is my time. Like, whoever it is, even if it was a client, I'll get back with you, right? So I hear this bitch just keep going the fuck off. I'm like, what the fuck is the problem? Let's just go look at the phone. It's her. By now, it's about 3 back-to-back phone calls. Like, what the fuck do you want? Like, I told you I'll call you when I leave. And when I got off the phone with you, you in the bed, you done showered. It ain't shit for you to do. You in the bed watching a motherfucking movie. What could you possibly want? I'm not about to be on the phone with you while I'm at the pool hall. What do you want? So I just let the calls go, right? Because I'm like, I need my space. I need this my time to do me. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. You know what I mean? Kept calling. 18 motherfucking phone calls. 18 motherfucking missed calls. I'm just getting more irritated by the call, right? And so I'm really not answering because I'm an asshole, right? I know it ain't nothing wrong. I know you just want to be on the phone. You just want to see what I'm doing or if I'm going to answer my phone because now I done decided to go out. So in your head, that mean I'm on some bullshit because you been on bullshit. No, I'm out shooting pool. You understand what I'm saying? So, shit got crazy, you know. She decides because I'm not responding, and this is where I say people use like emotional manipulative bullshit and try to use shit to control you. So apparently her brother left home one time and never returned, and they found him in a ditch you know, because he done drove in a ditch and he died. God rest his soul. I'm not your brother. I've only been here 30 minutes. What the fuck could you possibly... I ain't even had a chance to eat, drink, do nothing. I wouldn't be in a ditch. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even left yet. You know what I'm saying? What do you want?
I think she just used that situation with her brother as leverage to
No, she
act
used
like she was
it.
concerned for you.
It was a play on concern, but that ain't what you wanted. What you wanted was you
really
thought when you said I'm gonna send the police to your location. This motherfucker is in Florida. I'm in Redford.
Oh shit! Come on now.
And you talking about you gonna send the police to my location because I'm not answering your motherfucking phone call? I don't have to answer your fucking phone call.
Damn.
You understand what I'm saying? You in Florida, do you? I'm in Michigan doing me. You don't trust me because you on some bullshit. So just because I decided to go out this one time, now all of a sudden you just want to blow my motherfucker. You ain't never did this little hoe ass shit. Now I go out, now you doing this little fuck shit. Don't play with me. And that's not going to make me...
She's so busy down there doing her that now she's worried about you doing the same thing.
You understand? That's not going to make me answer your phone call. It's not going to make me text you back. It's not going to make me do nothing but leave this bitch before the police get here. I'm not going to call you. I told you I'd call you when I leave. I text her when I got home. Because now I'm irritated. I really don't even want to talk to you.
Right.
Fuck. Right. You know what I mean? You knew where I was when you was calling me. I told you. I showed you. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we doing? So you decide you want to, I'm sending the police to your location. All right. Go ahead. So I'm out, y'all. I'll holler at y'all. Because I'm drinking. I smoke. I drove there, which means I have to drive home. Right. You're in Florida.
You don't want no contact with the police, right?
At all. You understand what I'm saying? You're in Florida. I'm in Redford at the pool hall. My son is at home by himself. What do you think the implications are if your stupid ass called the police and the police? What if they pulled up as I was pulling off? And just because they have to satisfy this so-called whale check. Bitch, why is you sending a whale check from Florida to Michigan?
To a bar.
To a bar. But that alone wasn't my problem. It was a problem, but that wasn't my problem. The problem is, let's say, as I'm pulling off, they pull up. I'm under the influence. And I'm not saying it's right. It is what it was. But I know how to get home safely, right? I go to jail. Your motherfucking ass in Florida, my son is at home by himself. You can't do shit. Which tells me you wasn't thinking about the totality of the circumstances. You was just thinking about what the fuck you needed in that moment, at that moment. And because you didn't get it, you pulled that little hoe card. And you not going to be no wife of mine calling the police on some stupid ass shit. Did you forget you was black? You don't call the police unless it's a motherfucking emergency or somebody putting their hands on you or you in danger. Bitch, you in Florida, I'm in Michigan. What you mean you calling the police to my location? For what? Bitch, that's why I don't even play with that share my location hoe ass shit. Man. Bro, so I was done. I'm like, send me my motherfucking ring back. This was shortly after, this is March. Just shortly after the motherfucking engagement. Leave me the fuck alone. I ain't fucking with no bitch that just trigger happy calling the motherfucking police. You got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, what you calling the police for? Calling the police for what? I did. I asked her because I left before they got there. I said, did you really call? I did. And you proud of that shit, bitch? And so when I broke it down to her and like, so what if the police would have came and they'd have took me to jail? Because you know my attitude. I don't fuck with them motherfuckers.
What was the purpose?
The purpose for her
calling the police
was to try to use that to make me answer her call. I don't like that manipulative control shit. Don't play with... I told you when I met you, you will never control me. You will never be able to manipulate me into doing whatever the fuck you want me to do. I'm not that person. So if you have a need to control a motherfucker, go find you a feminine bitch. That would not be me. You understand what I'm saying? So after that, I broke the shit the fuck off. Like, nah, we done. Send my ring back. Her best friend calling me. We on the phone. All this shit. And I'm like, fuck this hoe. Like, this bitch got me fucked. She called the police. Yeah, she called. This your friend. Yeah, she called the police. Because I didn't answer her call because I was at the fucking pool hall. You'd have thought I was out fucking a bitch.
That's what she thought, shit.
How?
Cause she's delusional.
Nigga, I ain't even had time from the time.
Delusional as fuck, bro.
You know, from the time I got off the phone with you to the time you started calling me, nigga, I didn't even have time to get back in my car to make it to another destination. You understand what I'm saying? Like, what is the problem? Like, come on now. Like, come on now. So, for real, like, at this point, and I sound like a fool because I was really, like, done at this point. Because I'm like, oh, this bitch playing with the police?
Right.
Like, you in Florida, so you not in no danger. I'm not doing anything to you. All I'm not doing is answering your phone call. And that's your go-to, nigga? I'm scared of you, my baby. Because let it be something for real. That's what you gonna do.
You gonna exaggerate
And I'm going to tell y'all right
shit.
now, it happened again. But I'm going to get to that later. So, I break it off. I'm mad as fuck. Don't trust you. I already don't trust you as far as bitches. Now I don't trust you or niggas for real. And now I don't trust you as far as the police is concerned, right? But here I am. Dumb as fuck. Like, okay, I miss her. I miss what I thought. I miss, yeah, dumb. Like, that's why I keep saying, y'all gonna be like, Mac, come on now. Come on now. This ain't you, Mac. And it wasn't me. But it became me with these fucked up ass emotions, right? That's why I just be emotionless. I don't, people be like, you just don't give, no, I don't give a fuck. I have to not give a fuck. Because when I do,
This
you understand what I'm saying? This is what happens.
I feel the same fucking
You understand what I'm saying? So, and I hate to, and I forewarn anybody, just leave me the fuck alone. Like, I ain't there. You know what I mean? But still, you know, we talked. Let some more shit slide, right? Cool. Still caught up. Still between my emotional and my logical battle and shit, right? Still believe, okay, this was God's answer, so maybe he's trying to teach me something in this stupid ass shit. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe I should just not be so quick to give up. You know, relationships take work, all that. There's too much motherfucking work.
And health,
like, we talking about where we are now is from November to March. So we talking about 5 motherfucking months, my boy. And so, okay, after that situation, you know, she suggested we go to counseling. If you got to go to counseling after 5 months of knowing each other, dog, that's another red flag. So, but I agreed to the shit. I'm like, okay, this is the age of mental health. You know what I'm saying? Let's go to counseling. Maybe they could tell me some shit that I don't already know. Maybe they can help me figure out how to deal with whatever the capacity is of dealing with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. All right, let's go to counseling. Fuck it. So now let me pause before I go into anything else. So remember when I said in the first episode that when you're dating with intention. You're dating with a purpose. So we're not going to do this long distance shit for fucking ever. Somebody's going to ultimately have to move. Who is that somebody going to be? So initially, she said that she would move, right? But after she lived in South Carolina and she accepted this position in Florida, but they relocated her for she had to live out this contract till April of 2024. Mind you, we're now at March 2023. Who the fuck about to do this shit for another year? Not me. Because I'm already like, I done broke up with you about 2-3 times by now. Like, I'm not about to do this long distance shit forever. Like, who gonna wait for another year? So then I start entertaining the thought of moving there. I said, okay, well, I'm going to look into what it would take for me to move there. And then, I had to also consider my son. And he really didn't want to move. He had his gymnastics, he had his friends, he had his school, he had all this stuff that he was involved in. I had to think about my business, my clients, my students, and all this type of stuff. Like, dude, I've been doing this thing for 30 years. What I look like starting over. So, I went through the whole gamut and ultimately decided that I can't do it. First of all, we're not stable enough for me to do it. We're not stable enough for me to uproot myself, uproot my child, upset my child just off of the potential of whatever it is we're doing. because I didn't no longer believe in the guarantee of what we were doing because shit just was shaky and shady. And so I ultimately decided not to move. And you know, when I was giving her my reason, she was like, "You're just making excuses. You're just looking for a reason not to come." No, I'm being realistic. Fuck the fantasy. Fuck the bullshit. And this motherfucker gonna offer me, what if I write you a $20,000 check? No, no, what? Why? Why would you write me a $20,000 check? Do you know $20,000 with my bills is gone in 2 months? You know what I'm saying? I may as well stay home and make my own money. But why would you offer me $20,000? Now you're giving off desperation. Now that's another red flag. Like, why would you write me a check to guarantee if we don't work out, then you have a cushion? Because it would have taken my savings for me to relocate. And to feel like I had enough cushion not to have to depend on her. Because I'm not that bitch. I'm not a kept bitch. I keep bitches. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to uproot myself and come out there and rely on you. So I felt like I needed to have a certain amount of savings, and it just wasn't working out with the timeline. So I'm just like, no. Number one. Then on number two, like, what I look like in this barber game starting all, I'm not about to go get no job. You know what I'm saying? I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years. I'm not about to go get no job, so I'm going to take this skill. But what I look like starting all the way the fuck over, you know what I'm saying, from bottom to where I am now, and just forsake my students that I'm teaching and these kids that I'm trying to give a skill to, it's like, you just want me to give up everything for love, for some shaky ass love? I can't do it. I couldn't do it. So my ultimate decision was no. And so she was mad, feeling like I was making excuses. I said, well, if you feel like I'm making excuses and you don't see these as valid reasons,
Right.
then you telling me you're selfish as fuck.
Yeah.
You're not worth me just saying fuck my whole livelihood for love. Like, who that dumb? Like, you are corporate America. For you to move here, all you would have to do is either transfer your employment or get another career, job headed towards your career, your career choice. You're corporate America. You can come here Saturday and work Monday, and that's exactly what the fuck she did. But I would have had to go there and start from the bottom with nothing. Like, I ain't built like that. I'm 50-something years old. What the fuck I look like starting over? I'm close to retirement. I'm not about to start over.
With somebody who already.
But the fact that she was saying it was excuses was just pissing me off. Like, bitch, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, this ain't excuses. My son's gymnastic team member put together a whole PowerPoint presentation. This is why Donovan should not move out of town. Like, they didn't want him to leave. He didn't want to leave. She literally put together a whole PowerPoint presentation and had slides telling me all the reasons why. And I'm like, so I'm just supposed to say fuck my kid and how he feel just to be with you? No, ma'am. So it got to a point where it was like, okay, she accepted that I wasn't going to move there, and then we're going to try to wait this thing out till April. And I'm like, I said, no. I said, just let's just be cool, because I ain't about to wait another year. I'm not doing this long distance dumbass shit for another year. Just stay there. I'll be here. We cool. No, I'll move there. All right. Because I'm damn sure I ain't about to uproot myself.
How it happened.
Yeah. I'll move there. So at first it was, I'm going to try to look for jobs within the company, because what she ultimately found out after she looked into her contract was that as long as you stay with the company, you don't have to stay in this particular position. So she looking for jobs, within the company that she can do from home in Michigan, right? That didn't pan out. Sometimes when you do your job very well, they really don't want to transfer you. They don't want to let you go. Like the job she did very well. You know what I mean? So the company wasn't really offering her any real viable options. So then, she started looking outside the office. And so as she looked outside the office, she getting these offers, and she get this one particular offer. And when she applied for it and they got her resume, it's like they took that position off the site. And I told her, she was like, I just looked and it's no longer there. I said, that's because they looked at your resume. I promise you they're going to offer you this job. I said, I promise you. If it's no longer there, it's because they looked at your resume and you were the person they wanted. So she goes for the first interview. She does the second interview. She then calls me and is like, they offered me the job and they offered me the salary that I wanted. And they, and we happy as fuck. Because to be honest, we both believed wholeheartedly that the biggest problem we had was distance, and that's what was creating trust issues and things like that. So we thinking if we close the distance, maybe we'll be okay, right? So when she got the job and the plan was set in motion for her to move, it was kind of like, oh, okay, cool. Now we can exhale. We crying on the phone and shit, happy as fuck for her, right? Because now you can come here and still feel like you're not giving up your career. Now you can come here and feel like you're not giving up everything to come here with us. Because I wasn't about to give up everything to come there with you.
No,
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Plus for you now.
So, so she's offered the job. So now we moving into motion for her to move here. So then now, remember, when it was time for me to move there and I decided I wouldn't, I gave my reasons, right? Now she's like, well, I don't want to move into your house. What?
But if you would have came there, she'd have wanted you to move into hers.
No. She was willing, and she did. Because initially, when I was gonna move there, we were looking at bigger houses in Florida because the house she was living by herself. Like that house was not going to be big enough for me, her, and my son, and all that type of stuff. And so she had started looking into new, bigger houses that would accommodate all of us. So yeah, she did that. But then I told her because the shit was just too shaky. Like, no, just stay there. Because if we come there, just stay there. Don't invest in nothing bigger. Don't do nothing because I ain't even confident in this shit no more. You know what I'm saying? And so, but she did anyway. She ended up getting a bigger house thinking like, well, I'm just thinking maybe in the future, at least I already have a house. I told you I'm not coming there. Why would you do that? And you don't want to sign a whole nother motherfucking year lease in a whole nother place. And I told you I'm not coming there. You know what I'm saying? So, but she's telling me, but see what my problem with that was, it's like, my home is good enough for you to come visit every 2 weeks. But for you to live here is not good enough. Because you're a bougie motherfucker. You want to be out in West Bloomfield somewhere with some shit that's beyond our fucking means. But not only that, my home is not just my home. It's also my business. I can't move all the way on the outskirts and expect my clients to come there. Yes, I can recreate what I have at my home now. But I'm in between for a reason. I'm reachable. I'm close enough but far enough away. Right? If I go all the way out there, I'm going to lose some of the clientele I have. Half these motherfuckers ain't even got good tags. You know what I'm saying? They ain't coming all the way out there. So no, I'm not going to move out of my house right now. I'm not going to move out of my house just the moment you come because this shit ain't solid. Like, I'm not about to make no more major moves on this shaky ass shit. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, okay. I said, and then furthermore, I live in a district where my son goes to a particular school where he wants to go. Even though I had to bring him back home, that's where he was going. I'm not about to move all the way out there and have to change his school in the first year of his 9th grade. And now he got to go through adjustment all over again. It's like you constantly just thinking about you when this is 3 people. I'm not even just thinking about me. I'm thinking about my kid. But you just thinking about what the fuck you want, what the fuck you need, not thinking about the totality of the circumstances. And so I'm further getting to the point where...
Sound like you were dealing with, in every situation, you were dealing with a very selfish person.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It was all about making sure, and she would say otherwise, I did everything to make sure she was okay. No, the fuck you didn't. No, the fuck you didn't. And I'm going to get into that in part 3. It was just so, like, you know what? And I'm getting more and more to the point where it's like, and this is where that D-Mack motherfucker come in. Because I'm looking at this bitch sideways and I'm starting to treat this motherfucker sideways. I'm talking to you any kind of way. I'm like literally trying to push you the fuck away. Like, I'm so disrespectful.
Yeah, I seen that in a couple of instances.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, who the fuck would deal with me after that 7 Mile radio shit? You called in and asked for it, and I gave it to you. But I wouldn't fuck with me after that. You know what I'm saying?
And then the week after, was it a week or 2 weeks after when you came in with her, and y'all had that little debacle here in the studio, and she walked out and was sitting in the damn in the car for all of that time, right? Mm-hmm.
So it got to a point where she getting to a point where it's like, well, what are you going to do to make sure I'm okay when I come there? What did you want me to go get a new house? You want me to just say fuck his school, fuck him, fuck where he been living for the last 10 years, fuck the fact that I have my business in my basement, not only my business, but I teach my students there. You just want me to just say fuck everything for you again? Like,
when you would have
come
got
on
down
now.
there, every problem with the answer to every problem to her would have been like, oh well, you didn't have to come down here, you can go. That's how that
And
would have
that's
been her
why
tone.
the fuck I
That's
didn't
what
go.
been her tone.
Because I already know I sensed a element of control. And I'm like, oh, hell no. Ain't no way I'm going down there and I'm subject to yo whatever. Like, I ain't that bitch. Nope, you're not about to be just running me because I need you. No, I don't need nobody. I can stay here right where the fuck I am doing what the fuck I'm doing. And I don't need nobody to do shit for me, my baby, for real.
Man.
So I was just like, just stay there. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to come here at that point. When she started making all these demands, I said, what's funny is when I was entertaining coming there, I didn't make a single demand on you. Not one. I didn't ask you to move. That was your idea. I told you to stay. Your dumb ass moved anyway. You understand what I'm saying? That ain't my fault.
And now she wanna.
But
like
you know what
you
I'm saying?
did
Like,
that.
now you want me to just jump through all these hoops to accommodate you. First of all, maybe in the first month, you could have got me in the first month. I'd have jumped through all them motherfucking hoops. But after you became questionable to me, my baby, I'm not jumping through no motherfucking more hoops. I ain't doing shit extra. I'm not doing shit extra. You want to come here? That's on you. But I several times I told her to just stay the fuck there. Stay there. What's the point? What we doing? So anyway, she's intentional. She's like, no, I'm coming there. I'm coming there. I can't take much more of this. I'm about to break all this shit, right? Okay, cool. You want to come here, come here. But I mean, it ain't no motherfucking guarantees in life. You know what I'm saying? This shit ain't even right. You trying to come here. You trying to uproot yourself, and you know this relationship ain't right before you even come. We got problems,
It's like,
my
what
baby.
was your real motive for being? I'm talking to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was her real motive for being with you? It seemed like it was just
I don't
very
fucking. I
selfish.
think she just wanted to be with somebody.
to control.
So we started talking about the wedding and shit, and this is the funniest shit, dog. Like, I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Am I in a fucking Twilight Zone? Like, crickets? Like, what's happening? So, we looking at possible dresses, and I told her the style that I like, So she goes in her motherfucking closet, my boy, pulls out a wedding dress that she was gonna wear for another nigga. The nigga she was with before me. Puts on the motherfucking wedding dress and models it on FaceTime for me, and I'm just sitting here like, what is wrong with you? Like, why are you modeling a wedding dress that you were gonna wear for another nigga for me? You're not about to put that shit on for me. No. You may as well gonna burn that. You ain't wearing that in my wedding. And you bought it for another nigga? That's like me giving you a ring I bought for another bitch. Like, what is wrong? Like,
she would've accepted it,
I felt
clearly.
like I was in the motherfucking Twilight Zone. I swear to God. So I'm watching. I'm like, yeah, it's cute. And she was like, well, I guess I won't be wearing this. Because my reaction was like, you think... Who the fuck got a wedding dress just hanging up in their goddamn closet? You know what I'm saying? Like, all right. So I think she really just wanted relationships. She wanted to be married. She wants to be married. She wants to be loved. She wants to be swallowed up.
I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Oh my motherfucking God. But yeah, so she was insistent. She was insistent on coming here. So okay, now we're approaching May. And now it's time for us to start looking at venues and shit. What you laughing at?
I'm just looking at your ass and shit.
Oh.
The swallowed up.
The swallowed up. Now we started to look at venues and shit. So we looked at the Ovation Yacht, because I'm a little extra. She a little extra. She a little bougie. So it was like we looked at the yacht. That shit was like sky high. And we also looked at the Rooster Tail, which was more within our budget. But so we go look at we getting ready to leave and go look at the Rooster Tail and shit. They tell you got to dress a certain kind of motherfucking way. The wedding dress already in the closet is giving mental disorder.
Definitely is. definitely is.
Why is you holding on to this shit?
Yeah.
Sell it to David's Bridal. I'm sure they can give it to somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the shit was in. When she moved here, she brought this shit here. It was in my fucking garage.
Wow.
I said, don't bring that shit in my house. It was in the garage till she left.
The dress was in the garage.
56 days later. It was in my garage for 56 days.
So she expected you to be happy with a wedding dress that she had from another nigga who proposed to her that she brought from Florida up here, put it into the garage.
Why are you traveling with a fucking wedding dress?
Put it in the garage.
Why did you bring it here? What is your function? What's the purpose? This shit is like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
yeah, she just wanted to be, like you say, married.
She just wanted to be married up. So so we book an appointment with the Rooster Tail for a Sunday, and we booked the appointment with the Ovation Yacht people on Monday, right? So I tell her when we getting ready to go to Rooster Tail, I said, should I bring the money, get the money out the safe and bring it so we can put down a deposit? She was like, no, because we got to still look at the other one Monday, right? So we didn't want to rush to no decision, right? But we get down there to the Rooster Tail and shit, and we loved it. So it was kind of like we sitting at the table and, they high pressure sales. They trying to offer you all this shit to try to make you commit that day. Well, if you don't do it today, then you got to do this, that, and the other, right? So we looked at each other and we like, okay, cool. We fuck it. We'll just do here. Fuck the yacht. Because the yacht was like almost double what the Rooster Tail was, right? At least a third more. And so, she whips out her credit card, books the Rooster Tail. You know what I'm saying? So I said, okay, so we got this little payment plan set up. I said, okay, you pay the deposit. I'll pay, the rest of the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it was like $20,000, something like that. So what time is it? Oh, I'm almost at an hour. See, I did that shit.
Yep.
I have a whole nother situation, but I'm going to pause. I'm going to give y'all this little nugget for part 3. The very next day after we booked the venue, all hell broke loose a fucking game. And I ain't even gonna give y'all a nugget. I'm gonna have y'all just meet me here at 8 o'clock. And next week I can't do 8 o'clock. I gotta talk to you. We gotta do another day and a time. Right. It's gonna be sometime next week. We're gonna work it out. But part 3, y'all. I'm talking about we booked the Rooster Tail. We excited. They gave us free food, free dinner, and all the tickets on the tour. We done booked this bitch for $5,000. Blah 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 blah. Took pictures and all that type of shit. Posted the shit like yeah. Had a whole date for the wedding and shit. Right. The next motherfucking day, all hell breaks loose again. Meet me back here next week at 8 p.m. Well, I'll let you know what time. I'll let you know. But we out this motherfucker. I'll see y'all.
Warning. You are now tuned in to 7 Mile Radio.